In a world characterized by division, political upheaval, and the omnipresent influence of the media, a profound division among people has emerged, fueled by conflicting views that breed hostility and tension. This schism dominates public discourse, hindering the search for common ground and effective solutions, ultimately fostering a sense of hopelessness. When we refer to the Jungian lens throughout this book, we're invoking a perspective rooted in the ideas of Carl Jung, a distinguished Swiss psychologist. Jung's unique approach to understanding the human psyche and culture forms the foundation of this lens, guiding our exploration into the depths of the human mind and the collective aspects of our consciousness. So, viewed through the prism of Carl Jung's psychology, the phenomena of our times manifest as the emergence of the collective shadow, an amalgamation of the darker, concealed facets of our shared human psyche. And these suppressed elements, encompassing feelings like anger, aggression, envy, or greed, qualities often deemed undesirable, find their way into the collective consciousness when individuals repress them, contributing to prejudices, conflicts, and other harmful behaviors projected onto others or groups. According to Jung, when individuals repress these aspects within themselves, they tend to surface in society as a whole. Recognizing and addressing the collective shadow is vital for personal and societal growth, allowing us to confront and integrate these hidden facets constructively. If we do not address our own shadow, we end up projecting it onto others, and the worst case makes scapegoats out of others. In addition, this book also engages with Jung's cautionary reflections on the Wotan archetype and the post-World War II suppression of these archetypes. So it takes a dive into diverse cultural manifestations, with a particular focus on the Wotan pattern and its often overlooked feminine counterpart. When I talk about the Wotan pattern, I mean the emergence of the pattern of behavior associated with Wotan, the wandering god, linked to warrior traditions, with its shadow, nationalist zeal, and militarism. And before World War II, his return could be seen by the emergence of the German youth movement, which started in 1896. It consisted of young people, mostly boys, who were wandering around Germany and Europe with a rucksack on their back. These youths were being described by Jung as faithful followers of the roaming god. It is then also interesting to mention that these boys celebrated the winter solstice with animal sacrifices, something that is clearly present within the Korea's warrior tradition, which I want to add is something tied to the Proto-Indo-Europeans, and we're going to go much deeper into this later within the series as well. And later, in modernity, this same pattern being present in the rise of Nazi Germany. And the exploration further then also will reveal the multifaceted dimensions of the Wotan archetype, examining its cultural manifestations across societies and historical periods, which includes a nuanced examination of its feminine counterpart, illuminating the interconnectedness of these archetypes and their impact on collective consciousness. So as one goes through the book, as reader, and in this sense, I guess, listener, you will embark on an intricate journey through diverse cultural expressions, from mythologies to rituals, uncovering the threads that intricately weave the Wotan pattern and related themes together. And this book then also not only serves as an intellectual voyage, but a platform for cultural healing, providing a space for the integration of these archetypal patterns into contemporary cultural narratives. So this aims to foster a more conscious and balanced understanding by revisiting and reinterpreting cultural myths and rituals. Mostly, I want to add through reconstructing the Proto-Indo-European pattern itself. And the exploration then also spans diverse territories, encompassing the presence of the Wotan pattern in mythologies, resonances within historical contexts, and influences on societal structures. And by engaging with the suppressed aspects of these archetypes, the book aims to bring them into the light of collective awareness. And this process is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a journey that invites readers, and in this case listeners, to reconsider and reinterpret cultural myths and rituals. So the ultimate goal is to facilitate a reconnection with these archetypal patterns in a manner that aligns with contemporary understanding, contributing to a healthier collective psyche. The book further ventures into the multifaceted realm of Dionysus, offering a nuanced perspective beyond the prevalent contemporary portrayal of this figure solely as the god of wine, revelry, and festivities. Overcoming the oversimplification prevalent in popular culture, the book goes into Dionysus as a complex and archaic archetype with connections to personal and spiritual growth. Beyond surface-level associations, the exploration delves into the original and Orphic expressions of Dionysus, portraying the multifaceted dimensions of this archetype. This includes its significance in ancient mysteries and its role as a catalyst for transformative experiences. Reviving a comprehensive understanding of Dionysus that transcends contemporary stereotypes, this book further does invite readers and listeners to engage with the deeper symbolism of this archetype and explore its relevance to the human psyche. I also have a video on YouTube regarding Dionysus as well that I can link within this video as well. Archetypes being fundamental patterns or images representing universal themes and motivations which reside within the collective unconscious, shaping our understanding of the world and influencing our psychological development. And this shared unconscious, repository of universal symbols, archetypes, and themes influences dreams, myths, and behaviors across different cultures and time periods. In contrast to our personal unconscious, which holds individual experiences and memories, the collective unconscious is a heritage common to all of humanity. It is believed to be a reservoir of shared universal experiences and symbols that all humans inherit. Jung believed that our collective unconscious is formed through the experiences and psychological processes of our ancestors, imprinted as a kind of innate knowledge. And these shared experiences influence our thoughts, behaviors, and perceptions, often beyond our conscious awareness. Archetypes, fundamental patterns or images representing universal themes and motivations, residing within this collective unconscious, like I said. They represent universal themes and motivations, such as the hero, the mother, the shadow, and more. You can see very many more here within this map that I created of the collective unconscious that I added within this video. Archetypes are thus recurring symbols or characters that appear in myths, stories, and dreams across different cultures and times, serving as a common language of human experience. And these archetypes shape our understanding of the world and affect our psychological development. In Western society, certain archetypes have been pushed into the collective shadow, representing aspects of human nature or experiences considered uncomfortable or taboo. Unintegrated instincts and the suppressed shadow can then manifest in projection, where individuals or groups attribute their own undesirable qualities to others or the external world. And this projection helps individuals avoid facing and accepting these aspects within themselves, instead projecting them onto others. Instinct, in that sense, is also connected to the archetypes of the collective unconscious. And projection often leads to negative stereotypes, prejudices, or scapegoating directed at those who are perceived to embody these undesirable qualities. And scapegoating involves unfairly assigning blame and subjecting an individual or group to negative treatment, something, we can see within the cultural war at large. So unwanted thoughts and emotions may be unconsciously transferred onto another individual who then becomes a scapegoat, shouldering the burden of one's own difficulties. Sylvia Brinton Perera, a Jungian analyst, delves into the archetypal dimension of this phenomena. She describes how at an internal level, individuals internalize the symbolic scapegoat archetype, transforming into outcasts and exiles. And this process severs them internally from the life-affirming forces of their inner world, condemning them to endure a desolate and nightmarish wilderness. Recognizing projection is then also crucial for personal and collective growth, as it requires introspection and self-reflection. By acknowledging and integrating their shadow aspects, individuals can reclaim their projections and work towards personal growth, empathy, and self-awareness. Western society's emphasis on rationality has sometimes then also overlooked the importance of instinct and the collective unconscious. And while rationality has brought advancements, it often dismisses the nonlinear, symbolic, and archetypal aspects of human nature found in the collective unconscious. Neglecting these dimensions can limit our understanding of human nature and the world. And the rationality-focused approach in Western society then also places a strong emphasis on maintaining a positive self-image and adhering to societal norms. This can lead to the denial of shadow aspects, which are parts of ourselves we see as undesirable facets of the psyche that don't align with the conscious self-image. Shadow projection as a psychological mechanism becomes important here. This refers to the mechanism by which individuals attribute their undesirable or suppressed traits, emotions, and behaviors to others. And this can lead to conflicts, misunderstandings, and societal tensions as people unconsciously project their negative aspects onto those they interact with. And suppressing these aspects can lead to imbalances and distorted expressions. And the collective unconscious, in that sense, is a reservoir of universal symbols, archetypes, and myths, rich in meaning and wisdom. However, the rationalistic perspective may dismiss these dimensions as irrational beliefs, limiting our potential for self-reflection and personal transformation. And this book aims to guide us in reconnecting with the archetypes of the collective unconscious and restoring harmony to both our inner and outer worlds. But before we embark on this journey, we have to explore the past and the foundations of the collective unconscious, which underlie Western civilization. These roots extend far beyond Judeo-Christian influences, reaching back to the Stone Age. And neglecting these primal forces within us and our culture comes with risks. And this book seeks to shed light on their importance and the nature of these archetypal forces within the original context, focusing specifically on key elements such as the Neolithic base of civilization, the Proto-Indo-European people, the warrior traditions, and pagan mystery schools, before going into how we can reintegrate this wisdom back into society. And even though our modern society is not pagan anymore, this does not mean that these archetypes are not present within our cultures, merely relegated to the collective shadow. This is where cultural complexes also play an important role. Cultural complexes can arise as a result of social and cultural factors that impact the expression and integration of archetypal patterns. These cultural complexes can be seen as distorted versions of archetypal themes that arise due to social or cultural factors such as trauma, environmental factors, or cultural norms and values, and this shapes our current collective and cultural attitude towards particular archetypes. However, as much as for a particular person the ability to express the dominant archetypes is important for their psychological well-being, this is also true for the collective psyche. If we look at Western civilization within the time frame of the Neolithic to modernity, we can see that the majority of what shaped the Indo-European collective psyche is the Proto-Indo-European foundations and the archetypes connected to that, spanning from 5,000 years ago in the Neolithic to roughly 1,000 years ago in the Middle Ages, as folk beliefs were still strong till then. Hence, the archetypes linked to the Proto-Indo-European foundations have shaped our ancestors, and with that our own psyche for a very long time, at least 4,000 years if not longer. As such, these connected archetypes that also include the sovereignty goddess, Wotan in the Corius pattern, and Dionysus are important aspects of the collective psyche of the Indo-Europeans. This phenomena applies similarly to other cultures as well. Native American tribes as much have their own particular archetypes that are more pronounced in their culture, where within Egypt or China they have their own archetypes that are more in the forefront there, which is a natural development within both these cultures. As much being connected to the individuals within the culture and their shared relationships to each other, it also connects to the relationship that culture has with the land and environment. Which is why within an Indo-European context, serpents can become withholders of waters, where in China, serpents and dragons are the bringers of waters. The change is related to the environmental context, for example droughts in one area versus floods in another. What I then also want to highlight with this is that for all the different cultures, the archetypes that are more pronounced are such due to the long-term adaptations made by very many generations to that particular environment, and the connected social relationships both within the tribe and between the tribe and their environment. If we were to introduce different ideas and begin labeling certain archetypes as bad, pushing them into the collective shadow by demonizing them, we would disrupt this harmonious balance that every generation within said culture is always re-establishing and rebalancing, as one's environment also changes over time, whilst keeping the essence of these archetypes alive. As such, the manifestations of these archetypes differ over time, but their general pattern remains. The key being to keep this pattern in its healthy and integrated manifestation that is aligned to the times that the people live in. Imposing external judgments on these archetypes can disrupt this delicate balance and lead to internal conflicts within the culture. And this disruption may thus affect the psychological well-being of individuals and the collective cohesion of the society. And this influence may lead to a sense of cultural alienation, loss of identity, or even psychological distress as individuals grapple with conflicting external judgments about their deeply rooted symbols. So the demonization of crucial archetypes can lead to a form of cultural trauma. And this can create a loss of continuity, which can create a void in the collective psyche, impacting the sense of belonging and shared history within the culture, leading to a meaning crisis and belonging crisis. And this can further also lead to internal psychological conflicts, a sense of shame or even self-rejection within that culture, which can fragment the social fabric by fostering divisions and tensions within the community. Each culture and individual in that sense contributes to the diversity and richness of the human experience through their unique archetypal expressions. And we need to celebrate and respect this expression. Otherwise, we end up with a loss of the unique insights, wisdom, and perspectives embedded in different archetypal patterns. They are all part of the same tree.